Kevin and Monte, welcome to the Sipping Point.
Thanks for
Thanks for
having us.
All right, I love this. We got the Blackleaf team here, and I'm so excited to hear more about the origins of the company. So, Kevin, I know this kind of all stemmed from a trip you took to France, and we don't normally think of France for vodka. So, tell me, how did this all come together?
Yeah, so I'll go a little bit further back in the story. So I think the first thing is I identify as a dreamer, right? So I believe in the power of our dreams. I honestly believe, we get to shape the future, right? And that means the products that we consume, the experiences that we have. So that was always something that, I wanted to do in terms of put my magic out into the world, right? So I was on vacation in Cognac, France, and I ended up meeting what seemed to be the only Black person in Cognac, right? It turns out he was a soccer player, married to a woman there. So he had become quite the local celebrity. So long story short, he introduces me to, a master craftsman who owns a fifth generation cognac house, and we hit it off, and the rest is history. So what we wanted to do was, we were really pioneers in believing in organic and eco consciousness, right, and bringing it into the spirits world. So we wanted to create a vodka unlike anything on the market, and I think we've successfully done that. The name of the brand is Blackleaf. It's a French organic vodka. Yeah, we've gotten rave reviews on the quality. But, along the way, as a kind of a solo founder, you realize that in order for you to go, there's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Right. So I joined forces with Monte, and we're the dynamic duo kind of trying to take Blackleaf to the next level.
Monte, tell me how you connected with Kevin and why you were so excited to be a part of Blackleaf.
Yes, I don't have the sexy France story, but I've always loved brands. I just always love brands and how you can take a great brand, the right people, and connect them and create these moments.
Mhm.
So I had never necessarily thought about, hey, let me go out and start my own alcohol brand until I actually met Kevin. And, he had this product, this unbelievable product. I was actually working for Diageo at the time. So, I'd seen products by the hundreds, but it was something unique, exceptional about that product. And I don't know, it felt right. So, we stayed in touch. And by the time I left my corporate job, I should say, I knew I wanted to do something in that space. And I just happened to
Mhm.
give him a call and say, hey, I remember meeting you a while back. How's the brand going? We spoke, and he like it was there, but it was just a product. How can we really do something around it? Long story short, there was an energy over that phone call that was similar to that energy when we first met. A lot of things happened between that point and where we're at now, but the idea came about. Let's join forces and let's see if we can really make this special.
So there was chemistry between the two of you. And
Absolutely.
and you already had wine and spirits background, I guess, through Diageo, which is great. So we have a dreamer and we have someone who already maybe has worked this with other brands. One of the things I wanted to talk about is holiday entertaining.
Mm.
And we're going to get a little bit more to the process of Black Leaf and how it's made in a minute. But if folks are looking for ideas for holiday entertaining, you guys gave me two cocktails, kind of classics that still work great with maybe a little twist on it for the holidays. And the first one is the Black Leaf Pineapple Mule. And so I'm going to make one, but maybe you guys can, one of you, I don't know who wants to take the handoff here. Tell me a little bit about this recipe and why you decided to take a twist on the mule.
Yeah, I could take a stab at it. For the mule. So mules are classics, right? So how do you do something slightly different, right? And adding the pineapple element, it's already refreshing. It just adds an extra, almost tropical experience to it all. So very simple cocktail, but I say it's foolproof. In that if you follow the steps, it'll come out delicious every single time. Right. And it's great for hosting. It's always a fan favorite. So what it has in there is obviously the vodka. It's about 2 ounces of Blackleaf vodka. There's 2 ounces of pineapple juice. We prefer
Hmm.
organic, half an ounce of fresh lime juice, half an ounce of simple syrup, and then you top it off with ginger beer. So
Yes.
super simple to make,
All right.
absolutely delicious cocktail. But Laurie, you tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I've had it mules plenty of times, and I do love ginger beer. That's one of the reasons why I love it. But this does give it a whole nother festive quality with the pineapple because that's the one thing that you usually don't get. And so it gives it a fun variation, a little bit, more sweetness to it, which I think is fun at the holidays. And I think you could put some fun garnishes in there as well. I could even see like a sprig of rosemary, but you could do a classic lime. But this is so easy to make. And that's why I really appreciate it. You could almost set up a mule bar where people could make their own. And that's really nice when you're having a party because you're trying to do a lot of things. But you could have your black leaf there, you have your ginger beer, and then, the pineapple, the lime juice, and the simple syrup, and just kind of, or even batch them, which is what I did. I put everything together before we got on here. And if people want to find Blackleaf vodka, what's the best way for them to do that right now so they can get it in time for their holiday parties?
Yeah, so the easiest thing to do is to either jump on Google or any of your chat GPTs and look us up. You can find us online at blackleafvodka.co. On our website, we actually have a list of locations where to find us. So if you're in one of the states where we are in retail, we have a pretty robust description of where they can find us. But you can also go to Reserve Bar. So reservebar.com, a great partners of ours who actually are distributor partners for us from the vantage point of delivering direct to consumer. So they will just ship it directly to your door in about 33-ish states. So it won't be hard to find us if you're looking for us.
That's great. Awesome. So, Kevin, one of the things you said you were so committed to doing is making this product organic and really clean, I guess, which is something I feel like a lot of consumers are really tuned into right now, anywhere in the wine and spirits world. So, tell me about the process with your partners, what you learned in cognac that makes this so organic. And I know that you are USDA certified organic, which is great as well. So tell us what are you doing to make this a cleaner version of vodka?
Yeah, I mean, again, for us, it was in some ways being visionary and being pioneers again in the belief, right? So, organic is something that existed in a lot of other categories, not so much in the spirit space. And so I always say similar to like AI, where I feel like AI is inevitable. That is the future. I early on felt the same way about organic and eco-conscious. It was super important to us. And what that means for us in terms of the product is it's the ingredients that is used. So, quality in, quality out, right? So for us, it's a wheat-based vodka. So we use wheat that is not touched with any pesticides, insecticides, nothing of the sort, right? So it's purity from that perspective. But then we take it a step further in really embracing sustainability, right? So, all the way through the process, if you think about the wheat mash, we recycle that and we use it as animal feed, right? Because we don't want to just waste. And then when you now extend to the packaging, we made very deliberate choices. The bottle, we go with a bottle with less glass because it's lighter weight. So as it's transported around the world, it's less of an impact on the environment. So we wanted to really make sure we own that. But, you know, one of our taglines is making organic sexy. So we don't want it to be a lot of times people do all of that and they put a brown paper label on it. And that's the full expression. For us, the full thing is making organic sexy. So the sustainability, the organic integrity, but then we also package it with beautiful, sleek packaging.
I showed earlier, but we'll give another great shot for those who are watching on video, and I'll post a picture on my website show page as well. But it really is eye catching, and that where does Black Leaf come from?
All credibility to Kevin, who curated the name prior to me joining. But I think that in itself was the part of the mystique that made me extremely curious, and the marketer in me really enjoyed where it came from. Right. So when you think of black, outside of ethnicities and nationalities and anything from that sort, you typically think of premiumization, if you will. Right? Black tie, you think of, something a little bit more luxurious, you think of something a little bit more elegant, right? And you
Black
have that,
card.
right. So exactly, right. So you have that level of distinction that lends itself to perceptions of quality, right? But then you have the leaf, which is the ode to organic, to natural, to something in nature, right? So if you even take a literal black leaf, imagine walking through a field of just greenery everywhere and you stumble upon a black leaf, it stands out, right? So this
Mm.
product stands out literally like a force of nature. And you have that essence of premium and organic, so even going back to Kevin talked about the tagline making it organic sexy. Another one we have is laid back luxury. So if you take that bottle of Black Leaf and the name Black Leaf, but think about the cocktail that you made, right? It was a pretty simple cocktail, a very approachable cocktail, right? To me,
Hmm.
that's part of that laid back luxury. I can see a group of people not being pretentious, getting a couple of Moscow Mule mugs, pouring some black leaf in, some pineapple juice, and some other things, and really enjoying it. So, it's really that connection to being premium, but being accessible.
That really speaks to me because that's my whole mission in the wine and spirits world. But wine is, where I started, is to make it more fun and approachable. Because when I was first learning way back in the day, I was so intimidated, and sometimes you get attitude. So I love that you're also trying to eradicate that from a premium spirit, and that, yeah, this could be a great bottle for bottle service in Vegas, but it's also great for just every Friday night, with pizza and friends or something. So I appreciate that. So it sounds like you created a name that has many different meanings, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah,
Precisely.
and again, just linking it back, it's extremely accessible and approachable. Like I had a former colleague of mine, and I was not as versed in wines before I joined the industry. And I remember asking him, and this is someone in wines. I said, "What is the best type of wine to get?" And I'm thinking he's going to school me. He said, "The one that you like." And it clicked. It's not about the
Yes.
price. It's not about the provenance. Sometimes it's what feels right for you, right? So we wanted to create
Hmm.
something that was extremely like, woo, once you had it, you want to come back, but you're not scared to approach it.
So, Kevin, in creating the brand, because, this is a huge undertaking, creating a brand in the wine and spirits world, which is so vast right now. What do you feel like was something you learned that surprised you about going into this, industry, if you will, that maybe as an outsider you didn't expect?
Yeah, I mean, I think alcohol is probably one of the hardest places or hardest industries to tackle. So, in some ways, I say being naive in the beginning was very helpful because if I knew all the steps, I may have been discouraged early on. But in the space, I think the main thing is there's something that's known as a three-tier system. Right. So what that means is us as manufacturers, as producers, we cannot sell directly to a consumer. So we need to go through a distributor who ends up, functioning as sort of the gatekeeper, who then sells to retailers, your bars and restaurants and liquor stores, and then ultimately to the distributor. So that comes its whole set of challenges, and every state is different. So you need a distributor in every single state. So just navigating all of that has been interesting. And then
Hmm.
just the way the industry works, right? There's an element of B2B because you are in effect dealing with these distributors, but then you also have to market to the consumer. So it's a very layered space and it's just been
It is.
learnings all along the way.
And I think you're right, though. There's one way to market to your distributors, but in the end, you need those consumers to be pulling the bottle off the shelf, and so it needs to be something that is salient to them, which I think you found. This whole organic. You're a dreamer. I love, it's the small brand, not the big guys brand, and it's premium but laid back. All those things I think speak to the modern consumer right now in the market. So great. And Monte, I guess when you came on board, you probably were like, "Oh yeah, I know all about the three-tier system."
Yeah, yeah. It's like he said, it probably was good that he wasn't in the industry because it may have jaded him a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But kudos to taking that step, and now working on this side of the fence. I have the opportunity to see just how how different it is. You know what I mean? And it's good. It's good and bad, right? And I would say one of the things that really surprised me, or I shouldn't say surprised me, it didn't surprise me, but it confirmed me. It was like a aha is, when you're working with the big boys on the big side, it's funny how the phone calls always were answered and the emails were always addressed quickly, and it things happen very quickly and at your beck and call. When you're a smaller brand, phone calls don't get answered as quickly. The emails
Mhm.
may not get answered as quickly. So you gotta somewhat prove yourself. And as you're doing it, which we're doing, you're seeing that shift. But it's very interesting, to be on this side to see just how those ecosystems really maneuver and gives us an opportunity to figure out, what, if we keep showing up and showing up the right way, we can break down those barriers. But it's a very interesting space to play in.
All right. Well, you guys also gave another great idea for a holiday cocktail classic, if you will. And what I love about this one too is that you really can batch this, and then it's espresso martini, so you can pre-mix and then just shake it when you're getting ready to enjoy it. So, tell me a little bit about your recipe for the espresso martini, and I'm gonna pour mine in my glass.
So, espresso martinis, that's been a very popular drink, right? So, some people make it with all types of things, but it originated with vodka. So we wanted to make sure we had, again, a foolproof, delicious recipe that people could try Blackleaf with. So with
Hmm.
ours, it's, 2 ounces of the vodka. You've got half an ounce of coffee liqueur. You could go with whatever your favorite is. 1 ounce of espresso, simple Kahlua, that's a good one. Then a half an ounce of simple syrup. So you do that, and the magic is in the shaking, right? To
Hmm.
get it to froth, so it looks like the espresso martinis that you're used to, but very
I did
simple.
okay. I think I could do better.
So very simple, 4 ingredients, and it's delicious.
One thing I would like to add to that is, again, I'm going to go back to that laid back luxury play. You can't take yourself too seriously. So even though we have some pretty awesome recipes, you can
Hmm.
put your own spin on all of them, right? If you like yours a little
Yeah.
less sweet, you like it a little more sweet. If you want to add some caramel essence or whatever the case may be, the thing is to have fun with it. The reality is we're making
Hmm.
alcohol. We're making something that can help support and supplement the moments that you're creating when you're hanging out with friends, family, or you want some alone time, but you make it your way. And that's what's super important. I say we are a complement to the lifestyle that your people are leading. So like for me right now, in my branded old Walla,
I
what I
like it.
do, I'm not gonna say it's full of vodka, but I put a little bit of vodka in here, a little bit of tonic water, and you can sip on it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's
That's
you
simple.
have fun with it. Have fun with it.
And I think with this too, if you wanted to make it more holiday, there's peppermint, liqueurs that we could
So
do
many
in here. You
flavors.
said caramel could be a great one.
Yeah,
And again, because you can batch this
yeah.
and then just have different garnishes out, you could do a make your own. You have a couple shakers out and people can do their own, which is really fun. And I think interactive parties are great this time of year because people are standing around and the small talk. But when you get making the drinks and having fun with your bar and your food, I think that just kind of brings everybody together. So I love these two cocktails and the fact that the focus of what you guys are doing. Are there ways that people can interact with you live? Are you doing specific tastings anywhere, appearing anywhere? What's the best way if people want to connect with either of you or the brand?
Yeah, I'd say again the website blackleafvodka.co. They can reach out, but connect with us on social media at Blackleaf Vodka. So to answer the first part of your question, we're always doing things to enhance experiences, right? So locally, take the espresso martini as example. We actually sponsored. This has been a few months back, but we sponsored an espresso martini making event, right? They had a bartender mixologist there showing you how to make espresso martinis using Blackleaf vodka, right? So the whole idea of doing things with drinks in particular are to share the moments. And we're always looking for fun and innovative and inspirational ways to connect people, which is the main goal through using our brand as kind of the conduit of that. So there's always different things going on like that. as we find opportunities to collaborate with other groups, we do that as well. So I would say the
Mhm.
best way to find out or to stay abreast of those opportunities, check us out on social media, reach out to us on the website as well.
Great. Awesome. And I have an idea for you guys. I have a friend, Aaron Joseph, who has a company called Cane Mixers. I don't know if you have encountered Aaron yet, but he has great mixers that would be a fun and easy accompaniment to Blackleaf. So if you
Shout
don't
out to
already know him, you definitely have to connect because he's
Shout out to
local
Aaron
as
and
well.
Ezra. We know those guys well.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you guys have given us so many great ideas for the holidays with these cocktails, but I know people can go to blackleafvodka.co to get more. I just appreciate your time today on the Sipping Point, getting us ready for a spirited holiday with Blackleaf Vodka.
Thank you. Thanks for having us, Laurie.
Thank you.
All right, cheers.